Writer's Workshop, Neatness Counts. Introduction. Writing Workshop Neatness Counts was a project to improve the penmanship of students who are frequently required to write, but often aren't required to improve the quality of their penmanship. The case study for this project was a first grade student with a weakness in printing and forming alphabetic letters. My research project works to improve student writing by revisiting basic letter formation over a period of 3 weeks. Pre-assessment. To implement my strategies and my ideas, I chose a first grade student as my test subject. I gave the student a pre-assessment to set a baseline for his writing. First, he wrote all the uppercase alphabet letters. Next, he wrote all the lowercase alphabet letters. Then he wrote his numbers. Finally, he wrote a paragraph consisting of 5 sentences and had at least one of every alphabet letter within that paragraph. After evaluating his pre-assessment, I found that his uppercase letters were formed pretty well, both individually and within the paragraph. His lowercase letters were pretty well formed when writing them individually, but were inadequate when he was combining them into words and sentences. Most of the problem lied with the formation of his lowercase letters, and mostly when he was combining them with words. In addition, I noticed a pattern about the lowercase letters that were written inadequately. These were the letters written with some sort of curved or circle shape, such as B, D, E, G, H, P, and so on. So I knew that this particular case study needed that outcome to focus on improving his legibility and overall writing in regards to word making. After assessing the writing sample, I found that out of 168 letters written within the paragraph, 95 of those letters were not formed correctly, and only 73 letters were formed correctly. Implementation. The implementation process to improve the quality of his writing lasted for 3 weeks. Each week we revisited basic alphabetic letter formation in a printing practice workbook. This covered letter shape, the way writing strokes are formed to make the letter, and the order in which the strokes are supposed to be made while writing the letter. I also had the child focus on writing his letter to meet the proper lines. After each week, the child wrote the pre-assessment paragraph again to see if there was any improvement. Week 1, I noticed that most of the letters were formed correctly. A total of 129 were correct. The number of poorly formed letters had decreased to 39. The second week saw further improvement, and so did the third week. The amount of correctly formed letters in his assessment kept improving each week. By the end of the last week, you can see that the graph shows that most of the letters were formed correctly. After completing this action research project, I believe that students in a class are completely capable of improving their writing if time is spent practicing the quality of their penmanship. If the students are asked to write legibly and use their best printing during the course of the school year, with lessons focused directly on printing neatly and correctly, then students can accomplish quality penmanship that will last throughout their school career.